From the tall grass, a massive African rock python ambushes a leopard. Within seconds, the big cat is trapped in a suffocating grip. The python's coils tighten with every frantic struggle. The leopard's powerful snarls quickly transform into desperate gasps for air, its lungs burning for oxygen as the relentless muscle of the reptile denies.Fifteen yards away. A troop of 5 gorillas emerges from beneath the acacia trees. They are silent, standing in a line, a formidable and imposing presence, watching as one of the savannah's top predators is slowly drained of life. The python, sensing victory, constricts even harder. Its jaw opens wide, its forked tongue flicking across the leopard's face as though savoring the kill to come. It's a brutal tableau of predator versus prey. But the gorillas, these silent observers, add an unnerving layer of mystery to the scene. Just 30 minutes earlier, the savannah had been at peace. The landscape, dotted with acacia trees and low green grass, was tranquil. A solitary leopard, its muscular body scarred from countless territorial battles and risky hunts, moved with the fluid grace of a true survivor. Alone, as it often was, its amber eyes were fixed on a pheasant scratching the earth, an easy prize for a predator of its caliber not far from the leopard's hunting grounds. A different kind of life unfolded. A troop of 5 gorillas, strong, tight-knit, and peaceful, moved with a communal rhythm. The young ones played under the watchful eyes of the adults, while the great silverback leaders surveyed the domain with quiet authority. The gorillas foraged among the trees, their powerful hands gently pulling at leaves and shoots. Their lives were a picture of social harmony and strength, yet, coiled in the dense undergrowth, perfectly camouflaged, was an African rock python. A patient, ancient predator, it lay waiting, a silent shadow, ready to strike when the world came close enough. As the leopard crept forward, intent on its prey, it passed unknowingly within striking distance. In an explosive burst of speed, the python launched itself from its cover. Before the leopard could even react, the reptile's massive body had already wrapped around its torso and legs. The hunter had become the hunted in an instant. The quiet peace of the savannah shattered with a roar of shock and a violent struggle for survival. The sound of the fight carried across the plain, a guttural cry of a predator in peril. The gorillas stopped foraging, their heads lifted in unison. They advanced, not aggressively, but with slow, deliberate caution, their dark, intelligent eyes fixed on the distant battle. The silverback, the largest and most experienced of the group, came to a halt. He saw more than just a fight. He recognized the threat. The sinuous, constricting motion of the python triggered a deep-seated memory. A vivid and painful memory flashed through the silverback's mind. A young gorilla from his own troop, lost to a predator just like this 1 year ago. It was a primal instinct, sharpened by loss, that told him this wasn't just a spectacle. A python of this size was a danger to everything in its path, including his family miles away. Hidden in a patrol vehicle partially obscured by brush, American Ranger Caleb Vance watched the scene unfold through his binoculars. His primary mission had been to observe the guerrilla troop's social behavior and migration patterns. But now, he was a sole human witness to an unfolding drama that seemed impossible. His professional training screamed at him to remain an impartial observer, to document without interference. Yet, he couldn't tear his eyes away. His heart pounded in a mix of scientific fascination and raw apprehension that he watched as the leopard's struggles grew fainter, its eyes beginning to roll back in his head as his body was starved of oxygen. Just as it seemed that the end was inevitable, the lead gorilla made a decision that he rose to his full height and beat his chest in a thunderous, rhythmic drum roll that reverberated through the air. Then, without hesitation, he charged forward on all fours, bearing his long canines in a terrifying display of fierce intent. The silverback reached the chaotic scene first. Lurching at the python, he grabbed one of the thick, muscular coils of the reptile's body and pulled with all his immense strength. For a brief moment, the python's grip on the leopard faltered, but it was too strong, too well anchored for a single attacker to dislodge. The silverback's intervention wasn't enough. Seeing their leader engaged in the perilous fight, the other 4 gorillas surged forward without hesitation. What had once been cautious observation transformed into a full-blown rescue mission. They moved as one cohesive, intelligent unit, launching a coordinated assault. One of the younger, though still powerful, gorillas bit down hard on the python's thrashing tail, diverting its attention. Another grabbed at a different coil, working tirelessly to unravel the deadly trap. They moved with both furious intent and strategic precision, The python, now under attack by 5 formidable aggressors, was thrown into chaos. Its singular focus on crushing its prey was shattered. The massive reptile was forced to defend itself, its body uncoiling slightly as it whipped around. Trying to fend off the relentless gorillas, the combined strength of the troop was overwhelming. With a final, unified heave, the gorillas managed to tear away a critical section of the python's body from the leopard. Realizing its meal was lost and its own life was now in danger, the python let go completely. In a flash, it slithered away with surprising speed. Vanishing into the safety of the tall grass, the leopard collapsed to the ground, limp and gasping, its body trembling as precious oxygen flooded its lungs. The violent storm of the encounter passed as quickly as it had begun, replaced by a heavy, profound silence. The python was gone. The leopard lay helpless on the grass, its survival a miracle. But the most incredible part of the story was yet to unfold. The troop of gorillas didn't leave. They showed no aggression toward the weakened leopard, their competitor in this harsh landscape. Instead, they formed a loose, protective circle around the exhausted cat. They simply stood there, silent, their presence an unspoken guard. Minutes passed, and gradually the leopard's trembling subsided. It gathered enough strength to push itself up onto shaky legs. It glanced around at the circle of gorillas. Then, with a wide and respectful berth, it limped away toward the shelter of the trees to recover. The gorillas watched it go, standing their ground until the leopard was out of sight. Only then did they calmly turn and resume their foraging, as if the battle between life and death had never happened. From his distant vantage point, Ranger Caleb Vance slowly lowered his binoculars, his mind struggling to process what he had just witnessed. It wasn't just a fight, it was a conscious choice. He had seen a deliberate act of what could only be described as interspecies altruism, the unwritten law of the jungle, the cold, unfeeling calculus of survival of the fittest, had been momentarily suspended and replaced by something else. Empathy, or perhaps a strategic understanding that a common enemy was a threat to all that he realized, in that moment, that nature's rules were far more complex and mysterious than any textbook could ever explain.